Welcome to the guest room. This is your host, Joshua Farber. Thank you to Al. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes to help this show happen. So my first guest in the guest room is Dr. Tori Love. She is the CEO of Love Living Life Today and the creator of License to Date Relationship Training Program for teens and adults. She is the author of My handwriting is not the exquisite. She is the author of My Little Book of Wisdom, 52 Lessons I've Learned from Living Life. I'm sure she has changed many people's lives, and I'm very honored to bring her on. So, Al, to the commercials.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris Massey from The Chris Massey Show. You know, one of my favorite places to hang out, eat, and play music is the Moonshadow Tavern in Tucker, Georgia. Moonshadow Tavern, they got great food, great drink, and great live music 5 nights a week. Right now at the Moonshadow Saloon, you can go and get 5 appetizers for $5 each. That's right, 5 appetizers for $25. So just go down there and get them. Hell, those appetizers, man, that's a whole meal in itself.
Welcome back to the guest room. Dr. Tori Love is right here. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Josh.
I'm glad to have you. So, you wanted to have a conversation about your teenage years, and I can agree because that's, I guess, where all the love and romance comes in, and that's what you do. So, tell us about your teenage years, basically.
Well, as a matter of fact, when I was but a teen, I started doing what I do now. Now, I'm a love and relationships coach, which means I help people make decisions around what they should do in their love relationships. There are basketball teams that have coaches. There are baseball teams that have coaches. But guess what? You are a team of one and deserve a coach as well. You need a coach.
Right.
Right now. Are you dating? Let me ask you a personal question.
No, I'm good, single.
You're good single.
Yeah.
That's the best response. I wish every teenager could say that. Do you know why?
Why?
Because when you're a teenager, you have to figure out what you're doing on the planet. You have plenty of things that you need to accomplish, but sometimes if you get hooked up with the wrong people, then they can throw you off track and drag you out of your center. And you need to be able to stay where you belong before you add the wrong people. So it's good to add the right people too. So when I was but a teen, I got into a program. And programs are great because you meet great people. But in this program, there were a couple of one person who wanted to be a big deal, and we were like, you're not going to be a big deal. You're great, but you're not that great. One day, maybe. He said, one day, y'all, I'm going to be big. And what we were learning in the morning was interpersonal skills and then video skills, how to do a TV show, how to scroll, how to white balance everything. Now, the person who is big, whose name you might recognize, have you ever heard of a little guy named Spike Lee?
Spike Lee, wow.
You heard of him?
Yes, I have.
Look right here. I have a sheet of paper, everybody. This is Spike's autograph.
Wow.
Right there. He says, "To Tori, be happy, Spike Lee." Now, back then, Spike was just a student at Morehouse. He was young, but he knew he was going to be great. But he had the kind of supportive relationships around him that said to him, you're going to be fine. Here's all the help you need. We're going to be on your side and cheer for you. And that's where I made the decision to work in interpersonal relationship skills. I was like 15, 16. I was your age. How old are you?
I'm 15, so same 15. Age.
Oh, right about there.
Right.
So you don't have to wait to be great, and I see you've already started. But
I'm trying.
You're doing good. You're doing good. But the relationships you create now have the power to determine where you'll go. Because that's the summer I decided I wanted to be an interpersonal relationship skills expert and to help teenagers make quality decisions. Now, I'm going to show you a sign. I don't know if you can see it. See that sign? What does that say?
Construction. Sometimes people are under construction. Allow them room to grow.
Why do you think I have a sign that says people are under construction?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe you should be doing the interviews. Sometimes people are under construction. It's because it's true. Everybody needs to grow, I guess.
Exactly.
Everybody needs room.
Exactly. And the younger you are, the more time and space you need to grow. So you don't have to get settled into one relationship with one person that you will die without forever and ever. This is the only love you will ever have. I assure you, Josh, once you start dating more, I'm not saying you're not dating now, but if you are not dating now and you do decide to date, Just know that the people you love will come and go. There'll be one, they'll love you through this phase, you'll go to the next phase, you'll love someone else, but you don't have to stop because you don't have to stop and think that's all you get, because people are under construction, so they're growing. Everyone's growing if they're continuing to learn. And that's why in the relationship training programs I work in now, you mentioned it, I don't know, I think you did. The License to Date relationship training program is the one I use now, and it's like a summer program. I go to Spelman, for instance, and I talk to the teenage girls about developing healthy and strong relationships. Yeah. And that's kind of what I get to do as a result of starting at your age.
That's great. Always start early.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly is a relationship coach, and how does that help someone? How does that help someone who isn't dating?
Well, like you said, you're not dating.
Yes.
You're under construction right now, right?
So
if I asked you what's your sign, Josh, what might you say?
I'll say that one.
My sign's under construction. You don't have to say Aries or what's your zodiac?
Zodiac. I'll go with Aries because my mom is screaming yes. So.
Okay, well, you don't have to say Aries. You can say, I'm under construction. Give me some time, man. Back away. I'm not finished here yet. And that means that the people who you choose to have around you, I actually have a sign for that, are the ones who what?
Everyone does not deserve access to my wonderful self.
Because
private property.
Say that, private property again?
Private property.
Guess what, Josh? You get to decide who you give access to your wonderful self. They don't get to decide just because you're cute that they should have access to you. You get to say, no thank you. Maybe. Absolutely not. And then, oh, yes. yes right there.
Yes.
But you get to make that decision. But everybody who wants access to you doesn't deserve it. And that's part of being licensed to date, is knowing how to manage yourself and others on the highway of love.
Highway of love. I was thinking of Highway to Hell, but there we go.
And we don't want you there, but a lot of relationships lead there. They could lead there. You've heard of people who crash and burn.
There's a lot of crashers and burners.
And teenagers specifically start crashing and burning at your age when they start dating. And we don't want you, my friend, to ever have to crash or burn. But it comes from making sure that you only allow key people access to your wonderful self. And there are a lot of them you're going to have to say no to. Can you say no?
Let me hear you say no. Let's see. Hold on. I gotta think.
Think hard.
No.
Josh, can we go out? Say no.
No.
Josh, you're so cute. Can we go places together? Say no.
I'm cute, but let's see. How about no?
Say, how about no?
You're right. You're right.
Hey, Josh, let's get you some drugs and do something crazy.
No.
How about
No.
Absolutely no. See, this is a muscle you have to be able to practice. It's like driving on the road and being tempted to go too fast. You have to pay attention to your speed limits. Just like on the highway, you have to stay in your lane and pay attention to your signs. I'm going to throw a couple of signs up. These are other signs that you might have to show someone. You might be going down a dead-end street. What should you do on a dead-end street?
Turn around.
There are relationships that are just like dead-end streets. You can tell they're not going anywhere. So your job is to turn around as soon as you realize it's going nowhere and get the heck out of there. Because no matter how long you stay on a dead-end street, it is still dead.
It's a great way to play.
Yeah.
It's a great way to say it.
Well, I'm glad you like that, because you're going to be driving soon, yes?
Yes.
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 Every sign you see here is on the street, but they're also used to maintain your healthy, strong relationships. So some people are dead-end streets, and some are do not enters. Because you can see a do not enter before you ever get up there.
Right.
But some people go anyway.
Daring.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
They crash and burn.
Crash and burns.
And we're not going to let you crash and burn. Josh, we're going to get you licensed before long.
Yeah. Tell me about the License to Date relationship training program, and who needs a license?
Well, it's a good question, because I think everybody needs a license to date. Anyone who thinks they're going to date, especially even if they're married. Do you know married people have to date?
How is that?
I think that two people who've decided they want to live together forever have to take out special time alone, just the two of them, so they can continue their dating experience. Because they got together by dating, but guess what? They stay together by dating too.
That's true.
So it is essential that everybody get a license to date. Now, the teenagers need a permit first, because some of them are too young to date. Josh, you feel like you're too young to date?
I'll agree with you. Yes. Yes, I'm way too
there
way
it is.
too young.
Yes. Yeah, good answer.
100%.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Now that means you're ready for your permit, just like in driving, which means you get to pick good partners. Pick good friends. Because once you have good friends, you can find a good date.
That's true.
Did you know that teenagers don't know what to do with each other?
What do you, how is that?
That means that they decide that so-and-so's cute, then they get sitting next to them, and then they don't know what to do.
Hey, it's
There it
good.
is. There's
Start.
hey. Then
what? How's your day?
Good. What else?
Good. Usually if they don't say anything, that's a good sign to move.
Let me give you a little help.
Okay, I got you.
There are 5 things to look for. Think of faces. Now, this comes from a friend of mine, Dr. John Van Epps' program, How to Avoid Phone Forger. But you think about F for faces means family. What kind of family are they from? You need to know that. That's important. A for faces, from face, attitude. You need to know what kind of attitude they have, because the way they feel about life is the way they'll feel about you. C is compatibility. You like water, they like air. What kind of friendship is that? You can't go anywhere with them. E, in faces, we're talking about F-A-C-E-S. E is for experience. What kind of experience have they had? Did they kill their last date? Run!
Hopefully.
Run, Forrest!
Run.
Because sometimes you will be next if you're not paying attention to what was.
Oh, yeah.
And then S is for skills.
Skills.
What kind of skills do they have? Can they negotiate? Do they have any idea how to argue without killing people, screaming, shouting, beating people up?
That's a good trait to have.
F-A-C-E-S. Those are things that give you something to talk about when you're getting to know someone. And that way you can decide whether you want to spend any time with them or whether you're done. You're like, well, that's really nice. I see you've got knives and you like to shoot people and you're argumentative and unfriendly. I think I'll pass.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's good for teenagers, but guess what? It's also good for adults.
Yeah. So last question here.
Yes.
What do I need to know as a young person just in dating when it comes to getting married someday, or any young person?
What you need to know is what you do today is going to put you on a path that'll determine where you'll end up. So if you have 5 dates or 5 relationships that have bad experiences inside, you fight, you fuss, you're mean, you cheat, you lie, that's going to impact the kind of marriage you ultimately create. And I think teenagers don't realize that the things that they do today will lead to the things they'll do tomorrow and the things they'll do the next day and the next day. And they always say, oh, this isn't really me. I'll change. Guess what? How about I'll change and create really me? How's that sound?
That sounds like the plan.
That sounds like the plan. That's the plan.
That is the plan. So this was Dr. Tori Love. She was a great guest. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. And going back to commercial break, thank you again.
Thank you.
Are you ready to get glazed? It's time to get glazed with Dan Glazer and friends at Jerry Farber's Side Door Hour, featuring comics on parole open mouth every Wednesday night at 9:30 at Jerry Farber's Side Door at 3652 Roswell Road, Atlanta, Georgia. $5 admission, which includes free wings and sandwiches. So join us for a mouthful of laughter at Jerry Farber's Side Door at 3652 Roswell Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Give him a call, 770-738-3000. That's 770-738-3000. Or visit him on the web at www.jerryfarberssidedoor.com.
I want to give a little shout out to Jerry Farber's Side Door. We have an open mouth at Jerry Farber's Side Door every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. It's a $5 door fee, but you get all the chicken wings you want to eat, all the sandwiches, and some stage time. So come out to Jerry Farber's Side Door. Also, let's give a shout out to all the other great open mics like Laughing Skull, The Basement, Improv, Bonkers, and there's many more. So have a good time on an open mic and go out and enjoy yourself.
Welcome back to the guest room. Here's our next guest, Millicent St. Clair, and she is a international speaker. She's a best-selling author, trainer, and coach. And she's also the founder of Ligmo. And what does Ligmo stand for?
Ligmo means let it go and move on.
Move on.
And of course, we've talked about this. This is based on my little book called Simply Ridiculous, because there's so many things in life, Josh, that are going on that are simply ridiculous. And people definitely need to learn how to let it go and move on. So that's the basis of the work that I do.
Like that Frozen song?
Oh, yeah, it's like let it go.
Let it go.
But,
yeah.
that's just part of it. There's let go, but then there's move on. So it's really a two-part equation.
Really? Mm-hmm. What inspired you to write Simply Ridiculous?
Well, Simply Ridiculous is based on my own personal life experiences. And when I was actually just doing self-inventory. I was just thinking about the things that weren't working in my life and the things that were working. And when I did a little checklist, and I drew a line down a piece of paper, and on one side I wrote the things that were working, kind of like pros and cons, and the other things that weren't working. And the list of things that weren't working were like 39 versus the 3 things that were working. And I looked at my list and I said, this is simply ridiculous. Oh my gosh. And then it was birthed out of that. But it was based on self-examination, telling the truth, because the one who tells the truth gets free. And then I shared my list with a sister and then a girlfriend. And each of them looked at my list and they said, oh my God, that looks like my list too. And I began to understand that we're all really going through the same thing, Josh. Everybody, the names and faces changed, but the stuff's all the same. We're all having the human experience.
Right. So I guess, would you say some people have it more than others?
I think some people hold on to the ridiculous a little bit longer and a little bit more so than others do. So, yeah, I think some have it worse than others in that regard.
Right. It's the quote attitude. You can't change anything. Well, if you can change anything in your life, you can change your attitude. So that's my thing. So did you create the illustrations on this book?
Yes. Here, I brought one here to show you a few of them actually. This is one of the illustrations. This is my little stick figure. Her name is Mimi. And here she's being hypnotized and mesmerized and stupefied by a bunch of simply ridiculous notions, because there's so many ridiculous things that are going on out here. And the interesting thing about this work that I do is teaching people to increase their self-awareness. And one of the most significant things is to teach them about negative self-talk. Because lots of people have conversations going on inside of their head. In fact, I like to tease and even say that I hear voices. We've all got voices and conversations going on in our head every single day. You hear voices?
Oh, yeah.
I hear voices. You hear voices?
Sure, I know.
We all hear voices. And most of them are not necessarily the most constructive messages that we've internalized about ourselves. And we have to learn how to recognize them and how to let them go and make a new choice. So one of the things I tell people in my seminars is that you're unique, one-of-a-kind miracles of the universe. Each one of us is powerful. You are unique, one-of-a-kind miracle of the universe. Come on, say it with me. Say, I'm a unique.
I'm a unique.
One-of-a-kind.
One-of-a-kind.
Miracle. Of the universe.
Of the universe.
See, that is the truth of who we are. Now, but I know we don't always feel like unique, one-of-a-kind miracles because we have so many stressors pressing down on us.
Yes, I can.
Now, at 15, are you experiencing any stress these days?
I would say I do, mainly because of all the stress of uncertainty about our own future. And
Yes.
Just,
Likewise.
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with that. So we have to learn how to develop skills to help us deal with that, and that's what I call emotional management.
Emotional management.
Yeah.
So how does the whole emotional management thing work? You just emotionally manage?
Well, it's kind of like this. I have feelings, but I am not my feelings. Like, do you ever get angry?
Sure.
You ever get frustrated?
Yes.
Oh, let me show you what anger looks like. Ooh, she's blowing her stack, right? So see, if she's not controlling her emotions, then they control her. And people do one or two things when they're out of control emotionally. Either they explode, and that's what this looks like, or the opposite of explode. What would that be?
It would be passive-aggressive?
Kind of, yeah. It's called implode.
Implode.
Passive-aggressive, good. So either we explode, or implode, and people turn in on themselves. So they might just start doing drugs or, unbecoming behaviors or whatever. But either behavior of choice is simply ridiculous. So we need tools for emotional management. Because it's easy to say, let it go, move on. Well, let it go. Get over it. But people need help letting it go. Would you agree with that?
Right. That's what all the R&B things are about. No, I'm messing with you. But yeah, there's a age group, I'm guessing, that revolves around this. What age group were you when you felt your head exploding?
I don't know if there's an age group appropriate for this, because if you look at the news, people are going ballistic everywhere these days. I mean, it's like, what is happening? So people need help. They need tools, and that's why I'm a coach. to teach people the process of how to let it go, move on, because there are some skills, and even Dr. Tori mentioned that in her last segment. She said people need skills to help them improve their communication, first of all and foremost with ourselves, and then in our relationship with other people. So it's a process.
Right. What are the 3 principles of LIGMO?
Thank you for asking. The 3 principles are self-awareness, because we've got to be aware of the simply ridiculous messages and the things that are going on inside of us.
Right.
Then we have to learn emotional management, so we were going there. And then ultimately, it's personal mastery, because he who masters himself masters the world. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would, yes.
So we need to learn how to develop ourselves intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. See, because we're a composite of a lot of different aspects of who we are. So you're not just a walking, talking head. You're not just a body.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, we're a combination of all kinds of wonderful pieces of who you are that make up this being called Josh, a unique, one-of-a-kind miracle of the universe.
Of the universe.
That's
yes.
right. And ultimately, mastery is the goal. So, but we got to get a grip on those emotions first and foremost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So before I go on, you seem like you have a lot of illustrations that we didn't really get to.
Quickly, here's another one. This one's called Holding On to the Need to Be Right.
My way or the highway.
My way or the highway. See that?
When will they come to the light?
Simply ridiculous, huh?
Yeah. Please
Yeah.
accept my apology.
Please accept my apology, because sometimes we have to let go of the need to be right. We have to seek win-win relationships. How to make sure you get what you want and I get what I want. Is that possible?
That's extremely possible. I don't
It
see
is
why not.
possible, but not if I'm doing this. No, my way or the highway. Then it's not possible. So it's really about an attitude, and you said that at the very beginning, and I've heard it said that it's your attitude that determines your altitude. Have you ever heard that?
Yes. Oh, somewhere probably.
Exactly, and this is not a very constructive attitude at all.
No.
So we have to learn how to let it go, because sometimes it's just a lot of feelings, and we go back to emotional management on that note.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's a really cool book. It's easy to learn, and there's lots of just basic life lessons in it.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to write that book? Was it a lot of just going in? Because I know my mom, she's writing her book. It takes her a long time. Is that a good thing?
I think it depends. It didn't take me very long, because it was really just a list. It was self-inventory, and then what I did was I created an illustration to go with each one of the behaviors. So here I am, and this was me, cleaning up my act. Yeah, because sometimes we have to learn how to apologize, how to let it go. That's a process. And then here's one more I want to share with you. Look, when she lets it go, isn't she beautiful? See, it's not gender specific. That's you, that's me, when we really learn how to let it go. And then we can move on to the wonderful things that life has to offer us. But we can't get access to what's really good and powerful and possible if we're showing up like this. We got to let that go. And there's nothing wrong with anger or frustration or any of the feelings that we have. It's what we do with it. And it's if we choose to stay stuck inside of that what I call dukkha.
Yeah.
Dukkha is a Sanskrit word. It means suffering. Are you going to let go of the suffering and choose something different, or are you going to stay stuck?
Right.
Yeah.
So couldn't you just as easy tell people to forget about the past and get over it?
We could.
Yeah.
Get over it. Let it go. But again, people kind of need help sometimes, because if they've been heartbroken, or if they've had a deep wound, or if they've been traumatized, sometimes the feelings are there and they're dominating their thinkings, and they're living into that experience over and over again. And they need some help and some support, and they need a method to heal it, forgive it, release it, so that they can move on. So it's easy to say.
Oh, yeah.
But without a little bit of support, sometimes people just don't know how to let it go. So that's what the whole LIGMO piece is about, is it's a process. And it's a lifelong process, because I'll tell you now, for the rest of your life, and probably every day of your life, you will be releasing something, releasing a judgment. You know, we're always judging, we're always externalizing and looking at people and what they should have did and how they should have acted.
Yeah.
Let it go, because ultimately, what's the only thing that you can control?
Your attitude and yourself.
Yourself, myself. That's right. So that's the basis of the work.
Right.
Self-awareness, emotional management, and personal mastery.
That's great. That's the code, really.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know any other way to say it. That really is. That's great how you just doing this. I mean, you should be the motivational speaker of the year if that's a thing. Woo!
Well, thank you for having me on. And I met your dad, which was really cool. And he saw me at a laughter conference. And one of the techniques is to teach people how to release the stress by using laughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that. That was a really great thing. I rode a unicycle, and that was an interesting thing. So that was a really great experience. That whole laughter thing. Do you host that, or you were a speaker there, right?
Yes, I was one of the co-hosts for the program.
Right.
Because I teach laughter as a part of the techniques that, to teach people how to let it go. And it's one of the lighthearted ways. But, if you think about laughter, it's nature's stress relief valve. And laughter is really good for us, and it's important. Mm-hmm. And it's important to be able to laugh without any reason. So we say laugh for no reason. So you can just... let go of everything that is simply ridiculous.
Right.
Then we can release the emotions and the tension, and then we can move on.
That's great.
Yeah.
On my father's request, he wanted me to ask you, if you could rule the world, how would you rule it?
If I could rule the world, how would I rule it?
Right.
Probably with a spirit of compassion and understanding and tolerance for one another. Compassion, yes. Forgiveness. So we have to forgive grievances. When we forgive grievances, we make room for miracles. But if we're holding on to all that simple, ridiculous stuff, then where's the room for possibility for us to get to know each other? So, I mean, I wish I could sometimes tell that to the terrorists in the world or, the politicians. It's like, please, can we grow up, exercise a little maturity here, and communicate with one another instead of all that finger pointing, blaming, and judging, and holding on to the need to be right, which is very divisive. And it's very unfortunate that those are the models that are our leaders these days. It's
really
ridiculous.
That can revolve around so many different things and so many different people. So this has been the show. Thank you. We're signing out to the guest room. These have been two great guests. Thank you. Come back next time. Thank you, everybody. Just everybody. And we're just going to sign out. Thank you. Bye.
Let it go and move on.